In this video, you will discover shocking prophecies in Hindu texts about the Prophet Muhammad. The Hindu holy books clearly mention the Prophet Muhammad. His name, his father's name, the city he lived in, his message, and many other details are described step by step. As you watch, you may be surprised. This is a big proof and miracle showing that Islam is the truth. Because no person can give information about someone who will come 1,000 years after them. We are starting a new series where we will look at all holy books. We are working very hard on it. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and send it to at least one person so more people can learn the truth and get to know Islam. With your support, we reached 130,000 subscribers and 7 million views. The coming of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told not only in the holy books of heavenly religions, but also in the scriptures of some ancient belief systems. Many of us have heard that the Torah, Psalms, and Gospel include signs about him. But what many people don't know is that there are also clear and detailed signs in old religions like Hinduism and Zoroastrianism. As you may know, Hinduism is one of the most common religions in the world. With around 1.23 billion followers, it makes up about 15% of the world's population. This makes it the third biggest religion in the world. So, it is very interesting that the coming of the Prophet of Islam is mentioned clearly in such a big religion. The things we will now share with you are truly surprising. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is described in these holy texts not just by his qualities, but also by his name, his father's name, the place where he was born, the name of his religion, and the features that make him different from others. What's more, all of this was written in Hindu holy books many centuries before he was born. When we started looking into this topic, we were also very surprised. Even though this subject may be new for us, in fact, many serious studies have been done about it years ago. There are research papers and even books written by expert professors on this topic. It is truly amazing to see such detailed information about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in texts written 1,000 years before he was born. This is a strong sign of his prophethood. This also brings an important question to mind. Do Hinduism and Zoroastrianism also come from the same truths as Christianity and Judaism? According to Islam, Allah sent 124,000 prophets to guide people to the right path. Of course, prophets were also sent to the land of India to teach the truth. But over time, some of these divine messages were changed, while some parts were kept safe. Usually, rules that are hard for people, like giving zakah or fasting, were changed by society over time. Even the belief in the oneness of Allah was changed. Some groups loved their prophets so much that after they passed away, people started making statues to remember them. At first, it was just for memory, but later people began to treat them as holy and even turned them into gods. Also, people loved telling stories and changing them based on their own ideas. Over time, these stories became mixed with made-up things. Because of this, the true belief in Allah got changed and broken into many different forms. On the other hand, information about the future usually stayed in the texts more safely, because it didn't require people to do anything hard. That's why we can still find signs of our prophet in both Western and Eastern holy texts. But there were efforts to hide these facts that support Islam. Some texts were covered up or changed in meaning. For example, in the Bible, there is a sentence that says, I must be silent, the master of the worlds will come. For many years, some people said this verse was not about a prophet, but about the devil. Even the Vatican supported this idea officially. After many Muslims strongly rejected this, they changed their explanation again and said it means the Holy Spirit. But here's a big problem. The Holy Spirit is one of the three gods in Christianity. How could they first call it the devil for hundreds of years and then suddenly say it is holy? Sadly, this was not questioned much in the Christian world. No one seemed to mind that a figure once called the devil suddenly became the Holy Spirit. Because of things like this, the truth about our prophet was hidden in many ways for a long time, but today it is much harder to hide the truth. People can now access information easily. That's why the world is turning to Islam so quickly. If this video gets more than 8,000 likes, in the next video, we will talk about the parts of the Torah and the Bible that show clear signs of our prophet. Now, let's go back to our topic. Let's look together at the signs found in the Hindu holy books. According to experts, Hinduism was formed between 2300 and 1500 BCE. Today, it is the most common religion in India and nearby areas. Most of its followers are Indian. The general name of their holy texts in Sanskrit is Shruti, which means what is heard. These texts are divided into three main groups: the Vedas, the Puranas, and the Upanishads. There is also another book called Brahman Granth, which explains the others, but they don't see it as a divine revelation. Even the religious scholars, including those who don't believe in Islam, accept that some parts of these texts have special meanings. Another strange thing is the word mlecha. In that region, the Vedic tribes use this Sanskrit word to describe people who were not part of their group. It was used for outsiders, foreigners, or people who spoke strange languages, people they saw as barbarians. It didn't matter what race or color they were. If they were not part of their tribe, they were called mlecha. So if someone is going to come from outside the Hindu people, this is very surprising. Why? Because if they were writing this about someone from their own people, what would they normally say? They would say, "He will come from among us. Let him come and give us strength." But instead, the name Muhammad is mentioned. It clearly says he will come from a foreign land and will not be one of them. This is a very important detail, and this is not the only interesting point. There are more strange and surprising things to discover. The second point is this. A little further from the last section, between mantras 10 and 27 in shlokas, someone named Mahamata, who will come in the future, is mentioned, as you can see on the screen now. His name appears a few times. Near the end of this section, we see these words: "He will be circumcised, his hair will not be braided, and he will have a beard. He will bring a revolution. He will call people to worship loudly. Without performing detailed Hindu rituals, they will eat animals." Later, there is another interesting phrase. They will be called Musalman and will reject the false religion. It actually says Musalman, not exactly Muslim, but it is very close. Let's continue without breaking the flow. Besides the name Muhammad being mentioned, some details about him and his followers are also given. What do we see? Bearded, no braided hair, and circumcised. Now, someone who watches this video just to argue might say, being bearded and not having braided hair is too general. But when circumcision is clearly mentioned, their argument falls apart. This is too specific to be ignored or interpreted differently, especially when it says that this man will bring a revolution. Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, completely changed the society he lived in. This connects all the details perfectly. Then it says, "Those who call to worship with a loud voice." What does that remind us of? Of course, the Adhan. And also, they will eat animals without performing detailed Hindu rituals. That's an interesting point. Yes, Muslims do not follow long rituals like Hindus before eating meat. They simply say Bismillah. But that's not the strange part. What's strange is this. In a Hindu holy book, a group of people is shown eating meat. But in Hinduism, eating meat is not allowed. It promotes a strict diet. So this shows again that the person being talked about is not from the Hindus, but from another land. In one of the mantras, we'll even see a special sign about where that land is. Now the most important part. They will be called Musalman. This doesn't even need an explanation. The pieces of the puzzle keep coming together. Now, the third point. In one part of the Rig Veda, it says, "The one who loves the truth, who is very wise, strong and generous. The truthful and wise Mama showed me grace with his words. He is all-powerful, has all good qualities, is a mercy to all worlds, and is known with 10,000 companions." The word Mama is very interesting. In the Maha language, Mama comes from a word that means praised or honored. When you add the passive prefix mal, it becomes Mama, meaning the praised one. What is the Arabic word for praised one? Muhammad. Also, these qualities are listed. Truthful, lover of truth, very wise, strong, and generous. Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was known by both his friends and enemies for these same qualities throughout his life. These are the very traits for which he was praised. And don't forget the phrase, mercy to all worlds. This reminds us of his famous title, "We have sent you as a mercy to all worlds." Surat Al-Anbiya 21:107. And one more important detail, he is known with 10,000 companions. Yes. In the year 630, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam returned to his hometown Makkah with 10,000 companions. He entered Makkah with the people who loved him so much, they were ready to give their lives for him, and together they peacefully conquered the city. We hope everything is clear so far. There are two more interesting parts. The fourth one is this. Hindu texts talk about a time called the Kali Yuga, Kali Age. You can find more detailed descriptions in different parts of their books. In short, it is a time when all goodness disappears. People turn away from religion, holy books are lost or destroyed, people become spiritually weak and confused. This is the Kali Yuga. Near the end of this dark age, something special is said to happen. In Vishnu Purana, chapter 24, it says, "The rules taught by the Vedas and the legal books will almost disappear. The Kali age will be near. Then a divine being who has the nature of Brahma, the beginning and the end, and who knows everything, will come to the world." Details about this person are also given. It says he will be born as a Kalki, a man with 8 superhuman abilities, in the family of Vishnu Yasash, a respected Brahmin from the village of Shambhala. Later, it says, after he brings back truth to the earth, the minds of people living at the end of the Kali Yuga will wake up and become clear like crystal. Let's now summarize and try to understand this part. A Kali Yuga is described, a time when the rules and laws taught by the Vedas are forgotten. In that dark period, a special person will appear. To help us recognize him, some signs are given. It says he will be born in a place called Shambhala. In Sanskrit, Shambhala means house of peace or house of safety. When we look at the Arabic meaning of this, we find something very familiar, Makkah, because Makkah is also called Balad al-Amin, which means the safe city. Could this really be just a coincidence? If we read the next line, it doesn't seem like one. Another detail is about the family he will be born into, the family of Vishnu Yasash. Let's take a closer look at that name. Isn't Vishnu the name of a god in Hinduism? But what does Vishnu Yasash mean? It means servant of God. And when we translate that into Arabic, the name is Abdullah. Wasn't the name of Prophet Muhammad's sallallahu alaihi wasallam father also Abdullah? Yes, during the exact time written in the Hindu texts, in the dark Jahiliyyah period, in the same area and from the same kind of family, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and led people to a great awakening. He gave sermons about religion, good character, justice, social rules, and spirituality. He taught people about truth and helped clear their minds. His followers, known as the Sahaba, were once living in darkness and became leaders in goodness, praised in books throughout history. If you'd like, let's now take a look at the fifth and final section. This part is about some unique signs found in the Sama Veda. Even though there are a few, just one of them is enough to make us think. The text says, Ahmad has received the divine law from his Lord. This religious law is full of wisdom. Just as light comes from the sun, I take light from him too. Ahmad has received the divine law from his Lord. The name Ahmad is clearly mentioned. Ahmad is one of the names of the Prophet of Islam, and it comes from the same root as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Both names mean the praised one. Then it says that he receives religious laws from his Lord. That's the exact meaning of a prophet and a holy book. We know that before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, thousands of prophets were sent. There are many hadiths about this. Some of these prophets were given holy books and scriptures, but over time many of them were lost or changed. So if the Vedas of Hinduism were originally based on a true message from Allah, it's possible they were later corrupted. But corruption doesn't mean that every word was changed. For example, Muslims believe the Bible, Injil, was changed, but even now it still has verses about Prophet Muhammad in it. Hindu religious leaders don't usually include these kinds of signs in their teachings because they prove that Islam is true. They also don't talk much about the future in their teachings, so when we read these old texts, we can say, whether they were from divine revelation or not, no human at that time could have given such detailed information about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and future events. Let's just look at what's mentioned. His name, his father's name, that he is circumcised, and many other clear signs. So we cannot say, it's just a coincidence. That would not make sense. When we look at all these parts together, we see that there are strong proofs for the truth of Islam. Isn't this interesting? In one place we see the name Muhammad, in another we see Ahmad, in another we see Mama. All of these names point to the same person, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah shows people many signs to help them believe in the prophets he sends. We may only know a small number of them, but in every time a prophet was sent. What we shared today is just a part of those signs. I didn't mention everything. It's very possible that there are even more signs in the Hindu texts that we haven't discovered yet. And I truly believe with all my heart that more signs will be found in the future. Of course, there will also be people who see these signs but still close their eyes to the truth. So we must keep our hearts open to the truth. Dear viewers, we hope you enjoyed this video. To continue this work, we are asking for 6,000 likes on this video. If we reach that number, inshallah, we will go deeper into the Bible and the Torah and look at them from this same point of view. If you want us to research other topics too, please write in the comments. May Allah protect you and your family and keep you strong in faith.